Welcome to the first installment of my Guitar at Home video lesson series. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at 4 very basic open chord shapes that we can change and make a little more interesting. If at any point you want to pause this video lesson and screenshot some of the chords I'm going to make, please do so, and you can use that as a great reference for the rest of the lesson and for your practice time. The 4 chords I'm using to base this lesson off of are open G chord, our C chord, D chord, and E minor chord. Now these are very basic open chords, and these 4 chords are usually the first 4 chords people learn on the guitar. Now you can really go a long way with just knowing those 4 chords on the guitar, especially if you have a capo. But what I want to do today is make those 4 chords sound a little bit better and a little more interesting. If we do this all day, it can sound a little boring and a little dry over and over. What we're going to do is we're going to learn a new voicing for those chords. Now when I say the word voicing for guitar and for chords, that means we're going to redistribute the notes of the chord in a different way across the 6 strings of the guitar. Now for each of these chords that we're going to play in a new way, we're going to take the root of the chord and play it on the 5th string of the guitar. So for example, let's take the first chord, G. I'm going to use the 5th string of the guitar to play that root of the chord, my G. So if I want to play G on the 5th string of the guitar, that's going to be up here on the 10th fret. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a C-shaped chord and play it with my root or the ring finger on the 10th fret. So it's an open C shape that I'm moving up to the 10th fret, and now I'm playing a G chord. Of course, it sounds a little different because it's voiced different. But it gives us another option to play this G chord, and it kind of changes the texture of it a little bit. So I'm going to do this with all of the chords. So the first chord again was my G chord, which I'm now playing on the 10th fret. 10, 9, 0, 8, 0. Now for the next chord, for my C chord, right now I'm just going to keep it the same so I can keep this open C chord shape. Okay, so I now have a new way to voice my 1 chord, and I now have my 4 chord, and we're going to change that in a second. So for the 5 chord, the D chord, all we're going to do is we're going to take this open C shape and we're going to scoot it up 2 frets to our 5th fret. So now we have a great way of playing that 5 chord. And now for my E minor chord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and scoot up the ring finger, so where my root's going to be, to the 7th fret, so that's my E minor. We're going to change the shape of this chord slightly to make it a minor version. So I'm going to remove my middle finger and then place my index finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. So that's my new way of playing the E minor chord. So again, to review, we have our new 1 chord, our new G chord, our 4 chord, our 5 chord, and now the 6 chord. Okay, now we're going to make it even more interesting. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our pinky finger because we're not using it right now, so let's try to find a place where it can go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my pinky finger on the same fret that the root is on, or where my ring finger is on, and I'm going to put it on the 1st string of the guitar. So for example, for the G chord, I start on the 10th fret. I'm going to place my pinky finger on the 10th fret of the 1st string of the guitar. This now places the 5th of the chord in the highest voice. So in our G chord, the D is the 5th of the chord, and that's now the highest note of the chord. So this gives our chord even more texture. It changes it a lot from that first G chord that we played. So we're going to do that for all the chords that we've now changed. We have the G chord. Then for my C chord, I'm going to add my pinky. And then for the D chord, I'm going to add the pinky. Same thing for the E minor chord. I'm now going to play a 4-5-6-1 progression in my original open chord shapes and then the newly voiced chords. And I'm going to have you hear the difference. So here's my original shapes. Here's my new shapes. So you can hear the difference. I think the difference is huge. I think there's a lot more texture in the second way we voice the chords. Also, I think the voice leading is better. In the second way, all of the notes are really going in the same direction. If we played the regular version, the C, D, E, G, it kind of sounds like we're going up, then back down, and then up again. We're not going in the same direction. With this new way we voice the chords, everything's really moving up the neck of the guitar. And it sounds really beautiful if we do some picking with it. And again, for the strumming, I think it adds such a nice texture. Which I think sounds a lot better than just this. Now, you might be thinking, yes, this sounds great in the key of G. Every song I play in the key of G, I now have a new tool to use. But what if I want to do something in the key of A or C sharp or E flat or anything? Well, if you have a capo, you can move these chords just as you would move any other open chord shapes. So let's say I want to play in the key of B flat, and I want to use these shapes. If I put my capo on the 3rd fret, I can now play these in the key of B flat. So again, I'm going to do that same progression, that 4-5-6-1 progression in the key of B flat, using these newly voiced chords. Hopefully this video lesson has helped you look at these very basic open chord shapes in a more interesting way. I really hope this brings more color, creativity, and texture to your guitar playing, your songwriting, whatever it is you do with the instrument. If you want one-on-one lessons with me, please feel free to contact me for Skype lessons. The link is at the bottom of this video. Join me next time for my Guitar at Home video lesson series, and let's take this time to better ourselves, be productive, and let's be the best guitarists we can be.